Kendall, we're up here on top of Goose Ridge. Harvest has finally started. You got to be excited.
I am very much. We were patiently waiting for things to come around. It took a little bit longer this year than previous years, and we started with Pinot Gris at the beginning of the week, and now today we're going to get some Chardonnay and Merlot off the estate.
You were hoping to start picking last week, but had a little weather issue.
Had a little rain last week that slowed things down and lowered the bricks a little bit, so we needed to give the grapes a little more time to generate more sugar and let dry out from that rain. So now we're back on track. We've had some nice weather this week. A little bit of rain yesterday, but it really didn't amount to anything, so didn't derail today for us. And we're getting some nice sunshine. Hopefully it lasts through the weekend and into next week, and we can really start rolling.
I talked to a winemaker who got some of your Pinot Gris this week, and he was thrilled with the numbers, both the sugar levels as well as the acidity.
Yeah, the numbers came in really nicely. Brix was ideal, exactly what we were shooting for. The acidity was a little bit lower than what we ideally would have liked for, but right in the range that we're looking for, and we're pretty excited. It's going to be a nice wine.
Now we're picking Merlot here today, hand picking. What kind of numbers are we looking at here?
These sugars are going to be up over 25. So ideally, like to see things between 24.5 and 25.5, which this should come in perfectly. And our acidity is right at 0.6 grams per 100 mils, which is a ideal range for us. So it's going to be nice. And the flavors have really come on in the last 10 days, so we're pretty excited.
Speaking of 10 days, that's kind of about how far behind the harvest is this year. Are you seeing any concerns now, or are you feeling a little more comfortable with where you are?
Well, I think for the early fruit, we're very comfortable with where things are at. Still a little concerned about the later blocks and how much heat units we have left in the year, and towards the tail end of the season, so we're still holding our breath a little bit from that standpoint. But the sunshine that we've had recently and the weather, I think, are boding well, and hopefully we can carry that through September and into October.
Yeah, we've had a week where the highs almost every day have been mid-80s, and that's kind of what we talked about a few weeks ago. Is you really needed some of that heat to help bring things on.
Right, exactly. So that's cooperated. Mother Nature's cooperated from that standpoint, and hopefully she continues to cooperate with us as we get through this.
So what's next on the schedule? You've got some Merlot, you've got Chardonnay, Pinot Gris. What else are you going to be bringing in the next, say, 2 weeks?
Well, Syrah's looking like it's going to line up right behind Merlot, and then in Cabernet beyond that, Cabernet Franc seems to be lagging behind, which is a little bit unusual. You'd expect Cab Franc to come in towards the beginning part of the Cabernet Sauvignon harvest, but it's, for whatever reason, lagging behind, and it's going to be a little bit later.
Now, you've been at Goose Ridge just a short time. It's a fairly new job for you, and this is a huge vineyard. This is 1,600 acres. How long does it take you to get to know a vineyard till you feel comfortable with it?
Well, really several years. So it's a process that you go through. I'm collecting data points as we go through this season, and I'll tuck those away for next year and years after that. And just you learn a little bit about a vineyard every year, and it's never the same year 2 years in a row. So you get a feel for the variation that the vineyard might have, but also the changes in the growing season and tracking how the vineyard progresses. So it's going to take several years to really put my thumb on top of this vineyard.
I guess one part is that for Goose Ridge you're only dealing with small blocks versus the rest of the vineyard is really going to other wineries.
Right.
So that
exactly.
probably helps some.
And I've also got the advantage that back when I was working with St. Michel, we received fruit off of this vineyard, so I have some working knowledge of this vineyard from 7 or 8 years ago, and so that gives me a little bit of a head start on coming in with absolutely no history with the vineyard.
Right. You have a hand picking crew here today. What percentage of this vineyard is hand picked?
Probably only 5 or maybe 10% at the most. The hand-picking crew is exclusively for our Goose Ridge program. We do a little bit of hand-picking for some of the other small winery clients that we sell fruit to, but basically our Goose Ridge program gets the benefit of the hand-picking.
And when you're walking through a block of Merlot like you are here, what are you looking for? I see you picking berries and tasting them. What do you kind of look for with that for ripeness?
Looking for flavors primarily, but also, you know, how does the pulp feel? How easy does it separate from the seeds? Looking at the seeds, how brown are the seeds? We don't want to be picking when the seeds are green. We can extract green tannins out of green seeds, which we want to avoid. So there's a few different things. How easy the berry separates from the stem is also a gauge of how ripe the fruit is. So all of those things help us to make our decision on when it's time to pick.
I noticed at the winery you've got a press, but you don't have a crew for hand stomping. Do you guys do any hand stomping?
Not these days, no. we got a destemmer, and we try to maintain as much whole berry content in the fermenters as we can. I like that kind of extraction when you get berry integrity.
But you don't want any athlete's foot in the wine.
We don't want athlete's foot in the wine, no.
Okay.
Keep that cheese out of there.
Yeah, all right. Well, Kendall, good luck with as harvest continues. Thank you.
Thank you.